Hello, everyone. On this lovely Sunday, we are at the week of May 22nd, and I'm actually recording ahead, which makes me feel a little disconnected just because I have to run off for some family things. But I want to get this out for you guys in case you need your weekly shadow practice to help you ground down. Right now, we're right in the middle of a Mercury retrograde, which doesn't impact everyone the same. Generally, it has a greater impact on people who have planets at the points that the planet Mercury retrogrades. So this year, for this present retrograde, because there's a few in a year, it went retrograde on May 10th at exactly 4 degrees Gemini, and then on June 3rd, it'll go forward again, 26 Taurus, and there is usually a bit of a shadow period before and after. So obviously, I'm not recording this right on the date. We've just entered the Mercury retrograde on the day I am now, but I've already noticed a lot of, obviously, computer stuff is really common, but just things not quite going the direction you want them to, which is really common with this. So hopefully you're keeping your head together and taking some extra time to get things moving in the direction you need to. And if you're not sure how to check if this Mercury retrograde is hitting some important points in your chart, I do have a video on how to pull up your birth chart in AstroSeek, and it's my introduction to astrology video. You can find it on my website at shadowcraftcult.com. And if you have any further questions, my contact details are on there. And I'm always open to reading people's charts as well if you want a further breakdown. Obviously, not just about the retrograde, which is really a small part of our year's planetary transits, but just looking at the bigger transits of the year, we could always break that down. This week, we are focusing on needs, and I want to build off last week's practice where we were kind of focusing in on your childhood traumas and the parts of yourself that maybe didn't get what they need as a child. And I want to pull that into the present day moment and start digging into figuring out what we need now and how to meet those needs. And then next week, we're going to focus into the topic of boundaries, because I think a lot of times we think we just can't get what we need in life, but what is actually holding us back is this lack of boundaries that causes our resources to be pulled in the wrong direction so that we're not able to move in the direction we want to. So we're just kind of building in that direction of focusing on the parts of ourselves that we weren't aware of that are preventing us from getting where we need to go. So this week is needs, though. And we always start out with our journaling questions. And as always, you can write these questions down. I will put them at the bottom of the show notes. You are also welcome to just meditate on the questions and allow the answers to come to you throughout the week. Here's an interesting starter question. Do I have needs? And I like to put that out there because I will be honest with you, there's a lot of people that do not recognize that they have needs. So just trying to feel whether there's something there that needs something is super important to even recognizing what our needs are. Because for some people, especially if you were raised to believe that your needs don't matter, this stuff might be so repressed that just focusing on, do I have needs, is going to start bringing stuff to the surface. So that's our first question. Then, do these needs get met? Do other people help me meet my needs? Do other people work against my needs? And finally, was I taught that my needs don't matter? And our practice for this week, our shadow practice, is actually, one of my friends loves to use this. My friend Kim there likes to use spider diagrams, she calls them. And I've never heard them called that before. I'm sorry for that term for anyone who has a deep spider phobia, but it is a good visual. I think we just call them brainstorming here. She's on the other side of the pond there. So we always kind of laugh at the differences between terms. But I have adopted the term spider diagram because I love it. In order to do a spider diagram around needs, what we're going to do is just start out with one need, any need you want. Let's say in this example, you're going to put down the need to feel connected. So you write that out and then you draw a circle around it. And that's like the body of your spider. And then we're going to draw little legs on our spider. And you don't have to do 8. He might be a wonky spider. He might have many legs and he might have very few. But from those legs, we're going to write words for things we can do to help meet that need. Off the little legs, you're going to write down things that you could do to meet that. So maybe you could put get in a relationship, or you could put join a group, or volunteer, or hang out with coworkers. I'm just throwing random ideas out here, but the idea is for you to start thinking of ways you can meet that need. And once you brainstormed as much as you can come up with for little legs for that spider, you can put circles around those answers and they become little baby spiders, and they can have legs too. And the legs that come off the ways to meet those needs are going to be more detailed answers. Say that you decided, you need to join groups. You would put from the little legs off your baby spiders. Maybe you'd be Googling or looking up different groups in your area, or different groups that you would be interested in joining just off the top of your head. It doesn't need to be a real thing. Sometimes people start groups based on just wanting to meet similar people. Just focusing on this one topic here as an example for you guys, but essentially you're going to use this main spider and then the baby spiders with their little legs to help draw out a sort of a flow chart on how you can start working towards meeting these needs. And we're not necessarily going to find solutions right now, but what we want to do is sort of set that intention that we're working on meeting them and start thinking in the general problem solving direction of our lives, where we're trying to figure out ways to make these things be met. That's the general idea. You don't have to maybe finish it all at once. You don't have to do all your needs, but usually picking 1 or 2 out and maybe setting aside time to focus on them this week, and maybe look up some resources if you feel like it. And if you don't feel like trying to meet these needs right now, just popping that spider diagram somewhere that you see it regularly, just to start your brain working in that general direction. It really seems to cause change, even if you're not actively doing stuff right away. Opportunities sometimes pop up when we sort of set this intention in our lives. And I know this might seem like a sort of weird activity to some people, to actually start out with this big idea and then break it down into little pieces. But our brains do work better if we can see kind of a process of taking steps to fix things without it being a big problem. That's usually what limits us from solving problems, is the problem itself can feel so huge that we don't even know how to move towards it or work on fixing it. When we write out our needs this way, what we're doing is creating a sort of close up, focused approach of how we can start meeting that, and our minds function better with little steps. For our grounding exercise, when we come back to ourselves, we either need a candle. Now, I know some people don't have candles, but if you don't have a candle, a single object will also work. A glass of water actually works well for this, a simple pebble or rock. The trick is not to have anything that has a story behind it that makes you think too much. Because if you think, you're not meditating and you're not concentrating, because you're going off in your emotional thought stream tangent that can drag you away from yourself. So once you find your object, what you're going to do is sit comfortably, and you can't do this one lying down and because you can't look at the object, but sitting comfortably in some way so that the object is in front of you. And you're going to take a few deep breaths to settle in. So inhaling and exhaling. Just relaxing our shoulders, feeling the ground support us. And letting go of any thoughts that come our way. We're going to let our eyes rest on our object in front of us. And the idea is not to stare intensely, but to let our eyes relax and just take in the object. Continuing to breathe, bringing our eyesight back to this one point. And every time you notice your mind or your vision wandering away, coming back. And we'll take a few more breaths. And when you're ready, you can come back into your body. Take a few normal breaths. This is a good practice if you want to set a timer for a few minutes, just to teach your mind to focus and release. We'll be here next week. Take care.